In Group A, we have Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, and Czechia, also known as Czech Republic. And in this group, as much as I don't really care about South Africa at this World Cup, I do think they will make it out of this group. They have a good team, but they have some things going on with their association and their team manager. This apparently the same guy who was responsible for not observing that one of their players had a yellow card in the World Cup qualifiers, and the player wasn't eligible to play, and he eventually played and they got docked 3 points. You know all that story. That same guy apparently was responsible for them not getting their visas on time, and then they were stuck at the airport in South Africa for a while and all of that. But I think they're going to put all of that beside them. And honestly, looking at this group, South Africa are a good team, and yeah, probably Mexico will top the group just because of host advantage, and they are motivated and all of that. In the opening game in particular, I feel like it might be a draw again, just like the opening game in South Africa in 2010 between South Africa and Mexico as well. I think it might be a draw, and I think South Africa are going to go through. I think they will finish. They can even top this group, but just because Mexico is there as a host nation, I think they will finish second. So either one of South Korea or Czechia will finish third. In Group C, we have Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, and Haiti. Honestly, you just have to watch the last World Cup. This group is funny now that everybody looks at this group and thinks Morocco would definitely qualify. So, and I agree. Funny thing, Haiti surprised me beating New Zealand 4-0. Just like a couple of days ago, before recording this video. But honestly, when it comes to when the serious business starts, I expect Morocco to handle business in this group. Maybe they'll finish second behind Brazil if Brazil are serious. Yeah, so I expect Morocco to finish. I don't expect Morocco to not make it out of this group. So it'll probably be Brazil first, Morocco second, and Scotland third. So let's go to Group E that has Germany, Curacao, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ecuador. And again, this group, I think Cote d'Ivoire are onto something. A few days ago, I saw them beat France, so that was an interesting observation. And they have a rising star in Yan Diomande, someone that is on the radar of a lot of big clubs in Europe. So I think he might be the breakout star of this tournament. Honestly, Curacao are not going to do anything at this World Cup. Let's not dwell on them for too much. They're a very small country that are qualifying for the World Cup for the first time and all of that. So I don't really expect them to do much. They will compete, but they will finish last in this group. Germany, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ecuador. 3 teams are qualifying from this group. Germany, Cote d'Ivoire, Ecuador. Cote d'Ivoire maybe second or third. These African teams I've mentioned so far are pretty strong. So yeah, I'm confident about my predictions. Group F, Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia. Now, this is a group that, in this World Cup, people talk about how, because of there's now 48 teams, more teams, there's probably less group of death situations. And I feel like group of death is not necessarily a group where there is, like, on paper, all 4 or at least 3 very strong teams. It's more of like for me, it can also be a thing where there is not much separating all 4 teams, and I feel like that is how I see Group F. Netherlands, historically they've gone far in the World Cup. They've gotten to a couple of finals. They never won it, but in recent times they've not really been impressive in the past World Cups. I mean, they got to the quarterfinal in the last one, anyways. But yeah, Japan on a good day should be able to make it out of this group. I think in the last 2 World Cups, I don't know. Yeah, the last 2 World Cups, they've made it out of the group. So I expect Japan to make Sweden. I think watching Sweden come through the playoffs, I don't think they were that impressive. So I think, if Tunisia have a good World Cup, and if they have a good start, they can make it out of this group alongside Netherlands and Japan. And Sweden might be the team to get knocked out. So yeah. In Group G, Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. So we come to Iran's group now. So Belgium, I think there's always that powerhouse thing and all of that, but I think Belgium should make it out of this group. Again, this is a shield situation, right? Egypt, with Salah, maybe a little bit past his best, but they should be able to do something in this group. I think it would be a shame if Egypt cannot make it out of this group. Iran, considering all the issues around Iran will be under so much stress because having to imagine having to travel, every day, every time you're going to play a match from one country to another country. Iran will be under so much stress, and honestly, if they make it out of the group, considering the circumstances, it will probably be a miracle. And that's not because they are not good enough football wise, but just because of so many issues surrounding them. Um, New Zealand, I don't expect them to make it out of this group. This is their first World Cup from the last, I think, in the last 2 or 3 editions. So yeah, I don't expect New Zealand to come out of this group. So maybe two teams will qualify. That should be Belgium and Egypt. And if three teams make it, probably Iran. In Group H is Spain, Cabo Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. Um, Obviously, Spain should come out of this group easily. Except something dramatic happens. I don't see why Spain doesn't make it out of this group. Saudi Arabia, they were giant killers at the last World Cup, even though they ended up not making it out of the group. So I wouldn't be surprised if they can nick points off Uruguay and beat Cabo Verde. But I don't see Spain not winning this group. I think Spain might even get all 9 points in this group. And yeah, Cape Verde will finish last because this is their first World Cup, and I just don't think quality-wise they are close to any of the other teams. So maybe in this group, two teams might qualify. If three qualify, then it might be Spain, Uruguay, and Saudi Arabia. In Group I, we have France, Senegal, Iraq, and Norway. I think this is a very, very strong group. Iraq aside, no disrespect to Iraq, the other three teams, Erling Haaland's first World Cup in Norway, you're definitely going to want to make a point. Senegal, the current African champions, I don't know whatever CAF said about Morocco, and I honestly don't care. I watch what I watch on the pitch. Senegal are the African champions. And France, of course, with Mbappe and the star-studded attack and Michael Olise and all of that, I think this is a really, really strong group, and I don't see Iraq making it out of this group, except Norway get the jitters of first World Cup in 30 something years or so, whatever. I just don't see Iraq making it out of this group. I think France, Senegal, Norway, three teams will qualify from this group, and Senegal will compete. I expect them to compete. I think Senegal are definitely getting at least 4 points in this group and making a bold claim. So yeah, so far I've predicted that all African teams apart from Cabo Verde will qualify. So yeah, I'm making really strong predictions here. Argentina, Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. Argentina, Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. I think yeah, Jordan cannot make it out of this group. Algeria, if they have a good game, they have some quality players. They have Ryan Ait-Nouri, they have Riyad Mahrez. Past his best, but can still do something. They have Enzo Zidane, Zinedine Zidane's son in goal for them. Honestly, Austria, I don't know. They might bring up a surprise, but I expect Argentina to top the group. Although I'm not really rooting for Argentina in this World Cup. I rooted for them last World Cup for Messi to win it with them, and that is done now. So I'm not really attached to them in this World Cup in any way. But if they don't top the group also, I wouldn't be surprised because I think going back to back is harder than winning a World Cup after you've not won it for a long time. Maintaining that standards over the course of 4 years is very difficult. So if Argentina don't make it out of this group, no, they will make it out. But if they don't top the group, I think I wouldn't be surprised. Probably Austria will, and if Argentina don't top the group, I think Algeria might qualify. But if Algeria doesn't qualify, so it might not necessarily surprise me, but they will have to be really bad to not qualify because in this World Cup, there's a couple of there'll be a round of 32, and then there's like I think there's 12 groups, so the first two in all 12 will qualify. That's 24, and then six best third place teams will qualify. So 3 points might even be enough. So yeah, So in Group K, so as far as Algeria goes, I'm 50-50 on them qualifying. In Group K, there's Portugal, DR Congo, Uzbekistan, and Colombia. And I think that in this group, three teams will qualify. Uzbekistan will be the teams to be knocked out. DR Congo should qualify for me. Even though they beat Nigeria, they are one of the teams I'm rooting for in this tournament, but we'll get to that later in the video. Portugal, DR Congo, and Colombia, easy. In Group L, we have, that's the last African group. We have England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. And, you know, I think Ghana has a lot of issues. Coming into this World Cup, they sacked coach Otto Addo. He didn't take them to the AFCON, but he qualified them for the World Cup. But then a couple of friendlies in March, they lost to Germany and Austria, and I think it was the loss. I think to Austria that was the last straw that broke the camel's back. So they let him go, and they brought in a veteran in Carlos Queiroz, who has taken Iran to 2 World Cups and has coached so many different teams. But I think there's very, very short time for him to be able to put this Iranian team and this Ghanaian team together. And again, this is purely from a hating perspective. Ghana is not making it out of this group. Only 2 teams will qualify from Group L, and that's England and Croatia for me. Ghana and Panama will be going on. So that's for the preview of the groups of the African teams.